I always dread the run-up to Graham's birthday because I know that I'll get a message from his mum asking me what he would like for a present, and I never know the answer. He's not a person who ever really wants anything, apart from the Tesla or Aston Martin that we'll never afford, so it's really hard to think of what to say. Even asking him what he wants directly doesn't help. He will only ever give me a comedy reply. What do you want? Not just in terms of presents. What do you want? That can be hard enough to answer at the best of times. In a restaurant, for example, I can usually make a short list of things I'd like to order, but I'm still dithering when the waiter comes and asks what they can get me. What do you want? Apply it to life in general, and it's even worse. I can come up with general things: peace in the world, people to get on with each other and respect differences, an end to poverty and injustice, world governments and individual people taking action to reverse global heating and environmental destruction. And I can even come up with slightly more specific general things: security and good health for my children, things to be well for my friends and loved ones. But what do I want? What do I want? This is the question Jesus asks in our reading today. It's the same question he asked in the reading that was set in the lectionary last week, the passage that comes immediately before this one in Mark's Gospel. What do you want? What do you want me to do for you? Do you know how you would answer Jesus? What if Jesus was asking you this question today? What would you say? Jesus and his disciples have been to Jericho, and they're just leaving when they approach the blind man Bartimaeus begging at the side of the road. There must have been some kind of noise and commotion surrounding Jesus, because Bartimaeus hears and knows who is there, and he must have heard news about some of the things Jesus has said and done, and he must have begun to put things together and wonder if Jesus might be the expected Messiah, because he starts to cry out, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." The people around want him to shut up, but this just makes him even more loud and insistent. And Jesus stops and asks Bartimaeus to come over to him. And Bartimaeus is so excited about this, he jumps up and rushes over. Jesus asks him, "What do you want me to do for you?" And maybe the crowd thinks this is a bit of a stupid question. What might a blind man want from Jesus? Let me see. And Bartimaeus replies, "Let me see again." It helps if we read this story with some of Mark's other stories in mind. Perhaps you can already see the similarities with the story of the woman with hemorrhages who reaches out and touches the edge of Jesus' cloak. Both she and Bartimaeus have been pushed to the edges of society. Neither of them seem to have friends to help. They're left alone with their troubles and difficulties, their illnesses and disabilities, both perhaps at the point of desperation. And yet they both take bold initiatives, and they are both commended by Jesus. "Your faith has made you well." And these stories contrast with other stories. Think about the rich young man who is challenged by Jesus to give up his possessions. That's too much for him to do. It's a step too far, and he walks away from Jesus. But here Bartimaeus leaves his only possession behind, his cloak, and he gains his sight and follows Jesus on the way. And think about the disciples too. In the last couple of chapters, we've had the disciples arguing about who is the greatest, and we've had James and John asking Jesus to give them the best seats in the kingdom, God's kingdom. In response to Jesus' question, "What do you want?" James and John want status, but Bartimaeus wants vision. And our own answer to Jesus' question says a lot about us and about our priorities and our motives. It perhaps also shows us what our limits are. What is a step too far for us? Jesus asks Bartimaeus, "What do you want?" And Bartimaeus receives the gift he has asked for. But he actually receives more than that. He receives the gift of a completely new life, no longer on the edges, overlooked and passed by. He receives the gift of an invitation to join Jesus on the journey, a gift that he embraces, leaving behind all he has to follow Jesus with no looking back. What Bartimaeus receives from Jesus is a gift. It's what he's asked for and more. And it also becomes an offering, a gift to Jesus in return, the gift of love and commitment, the gift of willingness to embark on that path of discipleship wholeheartedly, sacrificially, and without reserve. When we accept the invitation to follow Jesus, we receive the gift of life, the gift of new life, and we make a gift to Jesus in response. The gift we receive becomes an offering of love and worship. When Jesus does for us what we cannot do for ourselves, we are transformed, and that which we have been given, we give back to God. All we are and all we have, our very lives. Jesus asks us, "What do you want me to do for you?" What is it that we want from Jesus today? What are we open to receive from him? And what are we prepared to give to him? May we be ready to receive the gifts that Jesus offers and to offer ourselves, our love and our worship to him once more today. May we step forwards in faith on his way, following wherever he leads and trusting that he will provide all that we need. May our lives be an offering of love and gratitude, of faith and trust, of hope and joy, born out of all that we have received from him. Amen.